So hello everyone, today we are going to start with data structures and we will see how to implement in C language. So at first we will just start with array and we will try to implement different operations like inserting a new value, deleting a value, the traversal or printing every element, the entire data of the array. Then number 4, selecting any value at a specified index, and the last one is searching for any value in the array. So here I have taken an array and the size of the array is 7. So let's name it as let it be a integer array whose name is ARR, and if it is a array of length 7, so its indexes will start from 0 and it will go to 6. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So now while declaring this, let's initialize the first two values as 3 and 8. So the values here are 3 and 8. Now suppose if we want to ask the user for any new value which has to be inserted, along with that we have to take the position or the index. For easy understanding of the user, we will just ask the user for the position. So now let's say the user wants to enter a number, let's say as 12 at the position 3. So this 12 number has this value 12 has to be inserted at the third position here. So here we can calculate the index easily as 3 minus 1 is equal to 2. So we can directly write here as ARR of 2 is equal to 12. So here the new value at the third position will be updated as 12. For the fourth one also it will again be easy, but the challenge comes when we have to enter any value at any position among these, maybe at the first position or the second or the third. So what do we have to do then? Then at that time, from that particular position to the last value, all the values has to be shifted towards the right. So now let's say, suppose we have to enter a value, let's say as 56. So let's say we have to enter the value as 56 here at the first position. 56 has to be entered at the first position. So the index would be 1 minus 1 equal to 0. So we cannot directly write here as ARR of 0 equal to 56. We cannot write this directly. If we do this, then the value here 3, it will be lost. We will not have this value anymore. So what do we have to do? We have to shift all the values towards the right. So we have to start this from the extreme right side. Here we have 12 right now. So we will shift this 12 towards the right, and the value at the fourth position, it will be updated as 12. And then for the second one from the right, we have to shift 8 to the right. So now the new value at the third position, it will be updated here as 8. Then do the same thing here for 3. So it will again be updated as 3, and then at last we have to execute this statement as ARR of 0 equal to 56. So this will be changed here as 56. This is how we have to insert any value at any specified position. Next is deletion. To delete any value. Now to delete any value, again if it is at the very last one, we can directly let's say, as it is an array, we cannot delete any value, or we can directly write here, replace it with a value as 0. Here I am considering the array, all the elements in the array, they are non-zero elements, and if I want to delete anything, I will simply write it as 0. Okay, so if we have 12, we can directly write. So let's say if the number was 12, so the user would give the input that the user wants to delete the element at the position 4. So here we can directly write ARR of 3 is equal to 0. But what if the value 56, the first one, has to be deleted? So what has to be done here right now? So if it is the first number, so again we have to start to shift all the values towards the left. While inserting, we have to shift towards the right. While deleting, we have to shift all the elements towards the left. Now let's say the user wants to delete the value from the first one. So we have to delete here 56. So here we will start from index 0, and all the elements over the right, they has to be shifted towards the left. So we will start here from the first one, shift this 3. So now this 56 will be updated as 3. Now automatically we don't have this value anymore, right? So now after this, shift 8 towards the left. This will be updated as 8. Then do this again. This will again be 0, and keep on doing this till the last, because we don't know what is the actual number. How many elements are there in the array? So all the elements here would be 0, right? So this is how we can delete any value. So inserting any value and deleting any value is done. Now let's say the next one is traversal. So for traversal, let's say we have now let's say the next task that we have is traversal, or to print all the values, and here I have 5 numbers, 3, 8, 11, 17 and 23. I want to print all these values. So we don't have to think much, and directly we have to take a looping statement. For example, I am taking a for loop here. Take a variable as I, initialize it as 0, and keep on iterating till the value is less than 7, because the last index here we have is 6, and then I plus plus, and keep on printing here as ARR of I. So what it will do, it will print all the values starting from index 0 to till the last one. This is how we can go through each and element in the array. Next is selection. Suppose the user gives a position or an index. So now next is selection. In selection, let's say the user wants to give the input as a position or an index, and wants to know which value is there at that particular position. So now let's say the user gives the position. So now let's say the user gives the position as 4. So the index here would be 4 minus 1 equal to 3. So what do we have to find? We directly have to find the value at the index 3. So take a variable as value is equal to ARR of 3. So here it will give us the value as 17. This is simply selection. Then the last one, searching. What is searching? The user will give a value and we have to search for that value in the entire array. So for searching we will use the method linear search and we will check each and every element. So how it has to be done? Let's say the value given by the user is 11. So again take a for loop, and inside the for loop we have to check at every iteration. Let's say the variable there is I. So we have to check it at every iteration as if ARR of I is equal to value. So it will keep on checking. Once this condition is true, when it will be true? When the value of I is equal to 2. Once it is true, so directly we can give the user as the output as the value 11 is found at which position? At I plus 1 position. Here we know the value of I is equal to 2. So here the position is 3. It is found at the third position. Or else, let's say if the user gives the input here as 29. The user gives the input here as 29. So for the entire execution from 0 to 6, the value 29, it will not be found at anywhere. So this statement will never be true, and at last it will finally give the result as the value 29 is not found. So this is the basic implementation of implementation of all this for all these functions into an array. If you have understood, then it is good, or if not, then you just go through the video again just to know theoretically how it is going to work. And those who have understood, let's just go and see how do we have to write the code and how does the code works. Okay, so now let's see how to implement this by writing a program. Here I have declared different functions for traversal, for selection, for searching, for insertion, and for deletion. So here I have declared an array of size 7 and I have initialized only the first two values 3 and 8, and I have declared three more integer variables as value, position, and input, which you will know while we keep on executing the program. So now here I am giving an instruction to the user to enter numbers respective of the choice of work the user wants to do. Here I am asking the user to enter 1 for traversal, 2 for selection, 3 for searching, 4 for insertion, and 5 for deletion, and 0 if the user wants to exit the code. So now if the user enters 1, so I have taken a switch case. Now whatever the input is given by the user, that will be taken in this input variable, and that input variable I am using it as an expression in the switch case. So inside here, if the case is 1, if the value of the input is 1, so it will call the traversal function. So now this traversal function requires an array as the argument. So I am passing the entire array by writing here as ARR. So now this is the traversal function. This is going to take the entire array as FARR. So here I have taken a for loop which will start from 0 and it will go to 6, the index, and then it will print each and every value that is there in the array. and then after printing everything it will simply return from this program. Then let's go and check for selection. For selection, if the user gives the input as 2, the case 2 will be executed. So here in case 2, first I am giving an input to the user to enter the position for selection. So now whatever the user gives the input as a position, it will be taken in POS, and then selection function will be called by passing the entire array as well as position minus 1. So now position minus 1 is nothing but the index. So here the selection function is going to take the entire array and position minus 1 as an index here. At first it will check if the index is less than 0 or it is greater than 6, then it will simply print here as enter a proper position, and then it will return from here. Or else if the user, whatever the user gives the position, that position minus 1 index, it will be returned here as function array index. So now whatever it returns, it is going to be get stored in this value variable that I have declared here. Now whatever it gets in the value, it will simply print there as the selected value is %d. Then comes the third one, searching. Now when it comes to case 3, it will print an instruction to enter the value that has to be searched, and then whatever the value is given by the user, that will be taken in the value variable. So now searching function is called, and that searching function, it will pass the entire array and then the value that has to be searched. So now if I go to searching, so searching, it is taking the entire array and the value given by the user. So here again we need a for loop to traverse through each and every element, and here we have this if statement where the value is compared with each and every element of the array at every iteration. Now whenever the value is found, it will simply give the output as value found at I plus 1 position, as the position is 1 more than the index. So here I have written here as I plus 1 position. Or if it is not found during the entire execution, then it will print here as printf value not found. Then our next one is, after searching, it is insertion. So when the user gives the input as 4, it will come here and it will execute this statement as enter the value to insert followed by the position where to insert. So now the value and the position is taken in the value and pos variables, and then the insertion function is called by passing the entire array, the value, and also the index by writing it as position minus 1. When insertion is called, again we have to check, as our size is limited to 7, so we have to check it every time that if it is less than 0 or if it is greater than 6. If it is less than 0 or greater than 6, then it will simply give the output as enter a proper position, or else if this is not true, then it will come down and whatever the values there are, as I said, those values has to be shifted towards the right. The value in the 6th index, it has to be copied from the previous one. So I have written here as FARR of I is equal to FARR of I minus 1. At whatever index, the value has to be inserted from that till the last. So it will start from the extreme right as I equal to 6, and it will keep on coming towards the left till it reaches the index, and here I have written here as I minus minus. After this is done, then at FARR of index, the value that the user wants to input will be inserted, and then I am simply printing the new array, whatever array that we have right now, by calling the traversal function. You already know how does the traversal function works, and then it will return from here. Then let's go to the last one as deletion. So here the user is asked for the position to delete the value. Whatever the user gives, it comes in the position variable. Then the deletion function is called by passing the entire array and the index. So here let's go and see the deletion function. Here it will check again the if it is a proper position or not, and then whatever the value is there, it has to be shifted towards the left. So once the value is shifted towards the left, so at every iteration it will keep on shifting whatever the value is to, or value is on the right, it has to be shifted towards the left, and then the whatever the value will be deleted, and then I am just giving the instruction as the value deleted from %d position as index +1. So now let's just execute and see this. And before that, whenever you are doing this, whenever you are shifting all the elements from the right to the left, the last element, that is, it gets changed to be as 1. So at last we have to write here as FARR is equal to FARR of 6 is equal to 0. Now let's execute the code and see how it works. So here let's try entering 1. Enter. It is printing the elements as 3, 8 and 5 zeros. Now let's try it for selecting any value. So enter the position. If I enter the position as 1, it will give me the result as the selected value is 3. If I do this again by entering the position as 2, it is giving me the selected value is 8. Now let's first try inserting more values. So let's say enter the value to be inserted, let's say the number to be as 12 at the third position. So the new one is 3, 8, 12 and 4 zeros. Now let's try inserting some more values again. Let's say 47 at the index 1. So it is changed as 47, 3, 8 and 12. Now let's try searching. Now let's enter the value as 8. So it is giving me as 8 is found at third position. If I search for a number which is not there, let's say 58. So 58 is not found. Now if I want to delete any value, then enter 5. Then enter the position to delete the value. So let's say if I enter it as the third position, so value deleted from third position. So at third position we had 8. So if I print all the values, 8 is deleted now. If I want to delete the value 3 from the second position, so I will enter here as 2, and the value it shows as value deleted from second position. Let's try traversing it. So we have 47 and 12 here. At last, if I press 0, it will exit from the code. Now here the code that we wrote, after the switch statement, if I am entering here as 0, by default it will, whatever the value I enter here, by default if it is not anything other than 1 or 5, it will just leave out of the program, and after every iteration of the switch case, it goes to the very top. It comes here. I have used the go to statement, and it comes here directly. So this is how we can implement the basic array as a data structure and some functions to it using the C language. So in the next video, we will see how to create a linked list and how to perform different operations in a linked list.